what it's my time leads to, is emptiness. So here's the good news. There's truth. The race has a purpose. When you look around you and you see things falling apart or just the same thing happening over and over again, remember, God has a purpose for you, has a plan for you. I think a lot of times there are key points in our life where our own purpose is revealed. When I was a youth pastor, I remember watching this with 16-year-olds when they got their driver's license. Some kids, when they were 16, I rarely saw them again because they had things to do and places to be. But some kids, when they turned 16, when they got the keys to the car, kids who had never brought a friend to youth group started packing their car with their friends and bringing their friends to youth group with them. Why? Because they had different purposes. One was about, it's my time, and the other was about, I'm pursuing Jesus. I have a purpose to live. You know, I think the empty nest is another one of those key times where that empty nest reveals a time for a parent to demonstrate what's important to them. As a pastor, I have seen parents have kids growing up in the church, and as the kids get older and the kids start to leave the house, the parents kind of disconnect from the church, and the parents kind of walk away from the church as the kids leave the house because it's my time, rather than continuing to live their life on purpose. Philippians chapter 1, Paul kind of lays this all out. He's telling his story to his friends in Philippi, and he tells us that purpose, that race with a purpose, is begun by Christ. In verse 6, it says, I'm sure of this, that he who began a good work in you, Jesus began the good work with you. He's going to bring it to completion at the day of Jesus Christ. And then he goes on and he prays for them that God's love will abound in them and they're going to be filled with the fruit of righteousness. And then he talks about his own life and his own ministry and the things that he's seeing. And then he goes on and he talks about how this service of Christ, this race with a purpose, is lifelong. Philippians 1:21. If you grew up in church, you probably heard this verse before. It says, for me to live is Christ. Every day is Christ, and to die is gain. A lot of times people stop there and then go on to verse 22. If I am to live in the flesh, that means fruitful labor for me. It doesn't matter who you are, how old you are, what your health is like. God has a purpose for you in this life today. He's got a plan for you. There's no retirement age for Christianity. We get to follow him. Now, it looks different when you're 35 than when you're 85. Serving Jesus looks different, but you have a purpose. It's lifelong. The last thing here is that it's all about good news. Philippians 1:27 says, only let your manner of life be worthy of the gospel of Christ. That word gospel means good news. God's got good news for all of us, and our life needs to reflect that. The gospel is really simple. The gospel is the purpose. Here's the gospel. Your selfishness hurts you. It hurts other people. It hurts God. And it breaks down relationships. It breaks down your relationship with God. The only way to have a relationship with God is to be perfectly good. And that's not possible. Thankfully, Jesus is perfectly good. And Jesus died on a cross to pay the price for your sin so that you can have a relationship with God restored. Not because I'm good, but because God changed me by giving me a gift. We need to receive that gift, and then we represent that gift everywhere we go. The finish line is still ahead for all of us. How's your race going? What can you do this week to help you finish that strong? Just a few kind of practical application things to think about. What's my next step? What's my plan for following Jesus? What is your plan to help you grow in your faith? Are you in the Word of God every day? If you aren't, you need a plan. You can't just say, I'll read something tomorrow. You need a plan.